Hi, good day. Today we're going to be learning how to use the Microsoft if function, the if statement in Microsoft Excel. We're going to be learning how to use it and understand that the if function is a conditional statement. It helps to assess a situation or condition to be sure that an action is performed when uh, the condition is met. For example, you know, you tell someone if it is raining, switch on your umbrella. So the condition is once the rain comes, you do what? You switch on your. So Excel also performs the same function. Excel also performs the same function. So just I will be taking you through how to write the if statement. I'll be taking you through how to perform the if statement. So how do we do that? The if statement, like I said, you precede all Excel formulas with the is equal to sign. But there's another way you press, by the time you there's no way to run that, or would get there in some while. So to do that, you go to if equals to if. This is one way. Or you can also go through another way, which is you go to formulas, you go to logical, then you see if. If the if and false, if error, this is a family. The if error, if not available is a family of formula. Is a family of formula. So using them will always help you to check for certain criteria, and once they are met, Excel will perform the predefined action. So let's look at it. Now you can just click on if, then it displays a dialog box. Now the logical test is entered, then the value if true. You understand? Then if false. You understand? So what do? Let's go through the manual way, which is always helpful to know. So we say equals to, so let's, so you say, let's say this is 5. Now we say equals if, don't forget there must be a pre-existing situation for us to apply our if function. Now we say equals to if, now we want to check if this is greater than 5 or lesser. Okay, if A1 is greater than, let's say, 5, then the next thing is to comma, you put your comma sign, then the value if true. Now, when you're using a string, if you want it to return a string, okay, you put inverted commas up there. So you quote your string. But if you want it to return number, just enter the number. But you can also leave it like this, and Excel will tell you that you have made an error. But the best to do is this. You just say, okay, value if true, we say greater than 5. Then we can also say, okay, value if false, we say less or equals 4. Now we press enter. Now this, if A1 is greater, so now, but there's another formula. Do you know this is not greater than 5? Is not greater than 5. So it's telling you that 5 is less or equals, sorry, 5. Yeah, it's supposed to be less or equals 5. Less or equals 5. Do you understand that? So we can test more conditions. Now, I'll take you back to the workbook. Hope you understand how to use the if function now. We have if, and we have nested if function where you are testing for more than one statement. Okay, let's turn this around into a nested if function. Nested if function. Now, what we need to do is we can drop this and say, okay, fine. Now, what you do is you say if A1 is greater than 5, then we tell it what to return. Then again, we state another condition again. Then we tell it the value. We can state as many conditions as we want it to check. Is that clear? So you say if it is greater than 5, we return greater than 5. Then we now say again, if you see it now, if okay, sorry, I need to close this. Okay, sorry, I'll be back with you shortly. I'll be sharing that screen back shortly. Okay, if is equal to, if A1, don't worry, A1 is equal to 5. Okay, then we tell it what it should return, equals 5, equal, you say equal, we can now say equals 5. Then else, we now tell it to say, that means if it's not equals 5, then that means it is lesser than 5. So we say else less than 5. So we close that bracket. Now we now make it 2 brackets, the parentheses, because we're going to close this parenthesis here, then we're going to close this other one that began each statement, then we're good. So it's telling us it is equals what? 5. It is equals 5. But let's change the value in A1 now and put 4. You see that our statement is changing. You see it's now less than 5. You see, let's put 6. You see it tells us it's greater than 5. Now let's make it more realistic and go to our worksheet that we used yesterday during this training. Okay, we use this. There was this worksheet we used yesterday for the academic performance. So we're going to use that to check how to apply it practically. Oh, I actually thought I was opening the workbook. Okay, I want to be sure I have the right workbook. I want to be sure I have the right workbook. I want to be sure I have the right. Okay, it's not here. It's not here, but we can always, okay, think. Okay, so what we do is simple. Let's open a new sheet like we did. You know, the other day I was telling, now let's use the if statement to draw up a grading system for a school. A grading system for a school. You know, in grades we say 0 to, we can say 0 to, you know, you say 0 to 50, 0 to 49, we say it is fail. We say it is fail. Then we say 50 to 60, that's to 59. 59, that should be C. Then we say 60 to 75, that should be B. Oh no, sorry, 74. Then 75 to 100, that is our A. Now, this is our grading grading system, our grade. Now, let's say a student now got 76, 67, 78, 69, 74, 57, 60, 58, 60. They're just demo data, okay? Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Yes, like this, like this, like this. Then we can have as many as we want as this. We can have it like this. So now let's write an if statement that will grade this score. You can say, okay, let's say subject one, then down to the next, So we can just do a drag down. Say Excel automatically fills with that. So we say subject, score, then we say grade. Now we want to use this grade scale. We want to use this grade scale to understand this. Now, what we do basically is to now write our if statement. Our if statement. And how do we do that? We say equals to. Now, we don't want to be writing, okay, you can be saying, okay, 67 should fall between, 67 should fall in 60 to 7. So we say B. It's too stressful to do that. What if we have 1,000 students to do that for? It's very stressful. We can just write a statement, an Excel statement, a single if condition statement, and run it across for all the students. Now, how do we do that? We say equals to if. Now, our value here, equals to if the value in V4, okay, is greater than, we start from the highest, or if you are using less than, we start from the lowest, okay? So let's use the greater than, is greater or equals 75, okay? It should return, don't forget it's a string, so we say A. Then we say if the value in A, we have to open a new bracket here, a new parenthesis here. So the value here in B4 is greater or equals 60, okay? Excel should return B. Then we say again, if the value in B4 is greater or equals 50, Excel should return C. Then lastly, or, so we know after that is F. So we say F as our last statement. Then don't forget our parentheses. We have 3 if statements, so our last parenthesis must be 3. That'll be 1, 2, 3. Then we'll put enter. Okay? So that means this student actually got B. So to complete this, we just drag the formula to the last student, and automatically Excel has graded all the students. Did you see that? Yes, that's how to do it. That's exactly how to do it. So I believe you understand this now. You can practice on your own and get it done. It's actually practice that helps you to learn Excel better. So I want you to give yourself the good of practice. Practices, and you would get the best out of your Excel learning. Thank you very much for watching, and God bless you. Stay blessed.